Hey everybody, thank you for listening to another episode of Dan and Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined, like I most usually am, by Dan O'Shea, Tony Casper, Dan Beebe. Gents, how we all doing tonight?
What's up?
Doing fantastic.
Lovely.
Oh man, we got a great show coming up. We're going to talk the college football top 25, and you know I have a ton of problems. I didn't even need to look at the top 25. I knew there were going to be issues. We're going to talk AFC West. We're going to talk the Pac-12. But first, we're going to start like we always do with our pigskin poetry. This one's a little bit touching, a little bit soft and tender.
Right.
You guys ready? Football is amazing. It acts like a glue. And I love watching football with you and you and you. And that's right, I just pointed at everyone.
And the phone.
Whether on my couch or if we decide to go out, it's always a great time to cheer, scream, and shout. It could be my team or another, I don't care. I love watching football, and it doesn't matter where. I love watching college, and I love watching pros. The CFL and arena, I watch both of those. A semi-pro is local, but it's also really fun. I love to watch them pass, and I love to watch them run. Football is a passion, and football is a love. Football is religion, which fits me like a glove. So whether you wear dog masks or hats made of cheddar, watching football with friends always makes it better.
That is very moving from you. That's probably the nicest poem you've ever written about anything.
No, I think the one for our 1-year anniversary was nice.
Okay, yeah, true. But that was self-serving. This one was just ingenuously nice.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with something a little more nice, I guess, is the best word to describe it, as you had just said. So enough of the sap. Let's talk football. Oh, guys. Football is back. We had our first NFL game. We have another NFL game coming up on Thursday. We had the Hall of Fame induction, and we're going to talk about all of that, starting with the Hall of Fame inductions. So, first of all, major congrats to some of my personal heroes, and I know you guys grew up watching these guys as well. And just, first of all, it just blows my mind.
We know Ray Lewis.
Well, listen, Ray Lewis is toward the bottom of my list, but just such great players that we grew up watching are now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm just going to run through the list. Bobby Beathard, and I know his name is spelled beat hard, but come on, get your mind out the gutter. Robert Brazile.
Dr. Doom.
Yes. Jerry Kramer. And no, that's not Jerry Seinfeld and Cosmo Kramer's love child. I know we all had that thought. But the modern era guys, Brian Dawkins, Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Brian Urlacher. I want to ask you guys, among this entire group, who would you, I guess, single out, in your opinion, as the best of the group? For me, I ranked the modern era guys because I can't sit here and rank Bobby Beathard and Robert Brazile and Jerry Kramer. So, for me, in my opinion, it goes Urlacher number 1, Dawkins, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Ray Lewis. I feel Ray Lewis, while, yes, he's had a great...
Who's your first?
Brian Urlacher.
Brian Urlacher is the top of my list. I don't know if I can rank them, but I always enjoyed watching Brian Urlacher play. He did it the right way. The way you would want a linebacker to play the game. He was always flying around. He was on every play, in every dog pile. He was just extremely entertaining to watch and was one of those old school brute force linebackers. I loved watching him play.
Absolutely. I got to stop saying absolutely. You're 100%
Definitely
correct. No, you're 100% correct. Brian Urlacher is the epitome of football player. His physical talent, his love of the game, his complete and utter knowledge. you can't, with a lot of players, you can say, obviously, T.O., his talent is far superior to his knowledge of the game and his passion for the game. Randy Moss, same thing. Brian Dawkins, I'm pretty sure his passion is higher than his talent. But with Brian Urlacher, I can't confidently say that any one facet of his game is better than the other.
I also like the fact that I think it was overlooked. Like, he was a very large, or very confident leader of that team, too. Like, that was his defense the entire time he was in Chicago.
Can you name anyone else that played defense with him?
Yes.
Besides Bobby Cox?
Okay. Peanut Tillman.
Okay, all right.
I mean, they were arguably, that defense that they had with them was what got them to the Super Bowl. It sure as shit wasn't Jay Cutler.
No, it was Rex Grossman.
Whatever.
He was the quarterback.
What's the difference?
Well,
other than the way you spell the name.
Well, Rex Grossman takes a hit and gets back up. So,
Jay Cutler just goes and smokes a cigarette on the sideline for a while.
That being said, Rex Grossman, there's sometimes I'm sure Chicago fans were hoping he didn't get back up.
it's a good point. That is a good point. There are two others that I can just off the top of my head remember. Can either of you name any of the other defensive players before I say who's in my head? No. So
No.
Nathan Vasher, who had a sick 107-yard missed field goal return for a touchdown, and then the one, the only Daniel Manning. So there's the three guys that I can remember, because I just paid all attention to Brian Urlacher because he was literally everywhere on the field. If we had to put money on who was going to be the best coach from this group of Hall of Famers, it is 100% without a doubt going to be Brian Urlacher. So,
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, I also appreciated, Moss and...
straight cash, homie.
Yeah, I mean, Moss he's the perfect soundbite individual. So I did like watching Moss play. He was incredible during his time. I mean, actually, this entire class was filled with monsters that really, at one point or another, certainly solidified their chapter in history.
Very few Philadelphia Eagles will I sit here and say really good things about.
Dawkins deserves it.
Brian Dawkins, Lito Shepherd, and Donovan McNabb are the three.
Okay.
I mean,
I have no problems agreeing with Dawkins.
Deuce Staley, also him. But Brian Dawkins is 100% deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. And like I said, in my rankings, I have him as the number 2 guy out of the 5 for me. And would be number 1 if it was anyone other than Brian Urlacher. So
True. I mean, he probably would have been number 1 any other year if he didn't go in with Urlacher.
He was just so fantastic. Again, played the game the right way. Was a guy that, even though you hate the team he's on, you love watching him play. Just ultimate professional. And Brian Dawkins, well-deserved. Congratulations. You're a Hall of Famer. All right. I just want to say Terrell Owens, obviously fantastically talented. Randy Moss, fantastically talented. Ray Lewis, fantastically talented. Do they all deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Probably. And why am I saying probably? Definitely. The biggest issue that I have with Hall of Famer is Ray Lewis. I feel like Ray Lewis a lot of times benefited from having such an insanely awesome defense, and the fact that he was such a big guy and such a well-known name that he could pile on at the end of a play and get credit for that tackle.
Yeah, very few people could claim such.
He is one that could, and I'm pretty confident that I watched him do that quite a few times. Ray Lewis is definitely at the bottom for me. That's not to say Ray Lewis isn't a very good football player, but that just goes to show you, if I have him at the bottom of the list, just how incredible this class is.
It was an impressive class from top to bottom, and it's nice to see all of these guys get recognized. Did you watch any of the induction?
No, I did not.
Okay. I'm going to put it to you this way. I turned it on at one point, and it was Ray Lewis at the end, and I was confused because it was Sunday. I didn't know if I was watching a prayer sermon. Because it sounded like he was a preacher on an evangelical channel, and I had to double-check that the NFL logo was in the corner.
All right. I did see a ton, and I mean a ton of people on Facebook say things like, "Preach it, Ray," and things like that.
Of course they did. I mean, it was more or less, he didn't bring up anything about the fact that he almost killed a guy, or allegedly killed a guy, or was acquitted of killing a guy. Either way, there was a guy dead.
Something happened, someone didn't happen.
Name was involved, I don't know.
Yeah, Dan D'Antoni Sports does not condone the false accusations levied against Ray Lewis. However, if he did, in fact, commit the murder, Dan D'Antoni Sports does not condone the murder committed by Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
I thought you were about to say we don't condone murder, and I was going to be like, I don't think that's something we should have to say.
You never know. Look who's president.
We say some pretty terrible things, but I don't think we've ever condoned murdering anybody. I definitely wish somebody broke a leg.
I'm pretty sure I remember a couple things that Dan O'Shea has said that he probably shouldn't.
Well, let's be honest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it has nothing to do with, suicide during a certain Madden Championship challenge.
Those weren't real people.
Those weren't real people. Oh, man. So, just such a fun group. And it really made me happy, but it also really upset me because I watched all 5 of those people play pretty much from the beginning of their career to the end.
We're getting to the point where we're seeing, that was kind of what I felt like at the Hall of Fame induction for the MLB. Like, you're watching Chipper Jones go in. It's like, I remember you being drafted, dude. God. Like, it's getting to the point that, Vladimir Guerrero.
Seriously?
I'm watching people, I remember them getting drafted, and I've watched their whole career.
It just dawned on me the other day. I'm going to watch 2 different Vlad Guerreros get drafted and retire.
Yep. He was there for that. And funny enough, fun fact, Chipper Jones named one of his daughters Shea after Shea Stadium because of how much damage he did to the Mets.
Yep. That is awesome.
And the reason they had him go first is because his wife was pregnant, ready to deliver at any time, so they wanted him to finish up in case she had to go, but he announced that he was naming his son Cooper because of going into Cooperstown that weekend.
That's nice.
Good old Larry. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, he hated being called Larry. Yep. But it just added the fuel to his fire when he played in Shea Stadium because they would all chant Larry. And he hated being called Larry.
It might be us that started that one.
Do you know why did he hate being called Larry?
That's his name.
Yeah, I don't know. He just didn't like the way it sounded. He thought Chipper sounded better, which, duh.
Maybe if he golfed.
Or was a wood chipper. I don't know. But,
Dude, you work shop or something? What's the deal?
I don't know.
And Vlad Guerrero had the shortest acceptance speech of all time. It lasted all of 4 minutes, and mind you, half of that time was through an interpreter.
That's great.
The years he spent in this country, he's not learning it.
That is awesome. So, along with the Hall of Fame comes some controversy this year. A certain Terrell Owens decided that he was going to return the slap in the face to the Pro Football Hall of Fame voters that he felt they delivered to him by not being present in Canton, and instead